You know what 50 basically just did? He just teased the sequel. He's like, yo, at first it was the Pops. Now the second season. You know the second season is usually more lit than the first. Second season is watching how they were tag teaming. Justin, Christian, and Diddy.
Diddy's sons are now moving front and center with a documentary of their own, positioning it as a fresh narrative that reframes their father's story from the inside out, while strong buzz suggests Diddy himself could break his silence publicly for the first time. This move isn't happening in isolation. It's a clear counter to 50 Cent's Netflix documentary, which continues to dominate online discussion and drive intense debate. With 50 Cent already preparing a follow-up chapter, the situation is escalating into a high-stakes documentary face-off, where both sides are gearing up to challenge the boundaries of the docuseries format and place their competing narratives directly against each other.
Network has a new Diddy documentary coming out, and this time it is coming from the perspective of Diddy and his sons. All time I thought we were about to leave Diddy in 2025. Well, this documentary is coming in 2026. And a lot of people, just like myself, are already not feeling this new documentary coming from Diddy's sons. A lot of people aren't happy about it and actually shocked that the owner of Zeus Network, Lemmy, is doing this Diddy documentary. But what a lot of people fail to forget is Lemmy and Diddy have been friends for quite some time.
Of his children arriving in court for day one of their father's sex trafficking trial in New York, hands gripped in solidarity.
Do you still believe your dad's innocent? How did you feel hearing that testimony? You apologize on behalf of your father. Do you believe your father's innocent? Do you still think your father's innocent? Your daddy died for years! Your daddy died for years for abusing women! That's wrong! You cannot do this!
The foes, the joy, the pain, our voice, the loyalty, the betrayal, the lies, the love, the hate, the truth, the lies. And Diddy calling from Fort Dix.
This is a prepaid collect call from Federal Correctional Institution, Fort Dix.
When they released this trailer last night, there were so many comments to Lemmy and Zeus Network that they did not want to see this. A lot of people feel like this whole new documentary is just a PR narrative once again being pushed by Diddy and his sons to try to clean up his image. And after hearing certain things on 50 Cent's Netflix documentary, we have to go back in time and remember what we were seeing during trial. Even when it came to Diddy's sons, Christian and Justin Combs, they both came on two separate occasions to trial wearing a free Sean Combs shirt. The first one to do this was Christian Combs during Jane's testimony, and you're not supposed to wear this stuff in front of a jury.
Justin and Christian Combs are both set to appear in the documentary, marking the first time either has spoken publicly about the controversy surrounding their father since the legal proceedings began. With their own legal situations still unresolved, the pressure on the Combs family continues to build. And if Diddy ultimately steps into the project, it could transform the film into a calculated effort to influence public opinion amid ongoing scrutiny. All signs point to a tense, high-profile release, one that promises sharp emotion, layered perspective, and a revealing look at how a powerful family responds when every move is watched under an unforgiving public spotlight.
To be in this, it shows clearly we are also going to hear from Diddy himself on a phone call while he's in prison at Fort Dix. Already seeing the way people are reacting, I do not think this is hitting for them the way they want it to. And I think this is also because everybody knows that Diddy is actually appealing his sentence that he was found guilty of right now. I think that if Diddy just took accountability for the things that we have all seen him do wrong, he would do a lot better than trying to push a certain narrative.
The upcoming documentary centered on Diddy's sons is being positioned as offering rare access, including a reported phone call from Diddy himself, but early reactions suggest it may not be connecting as intended. Many observers point out that with an appeal still underway, audiences are less receptive to narrative control and more responsive to clear accountability for past actions. Despite that, the family appears firmly committed to presenting their version of events. What's catching even more attention, however, is an unexpected reaction from 50 Cent, who has openly amplified the trailer on social media and weighed in publicly, turning the release into another flashpoint amid his ongoing tension with Justin and Christian, setting the stage for yet another layer of public back and forth before the deeper conflict even unfolds.
Tap in as expected. 50 Cent caught wind of it hitting the news, hitting the blogs, and being on the timeline yesterday that Diddy's sons, Sean and Justin, will be dropping a docuseries of their own to tell their side of the story, their experiences, and how they view things on the Zeus network. Well, 50 Cent put it up on his Instagram page, and he promoted the trailer when you look at it from the other side of it on the marketing side, but he knows it plays back into the doc that he just dropped as well with the record, and he put it up and said, wow, I want to see this show. I'm not sure this was a good idea. And he tagged at 50 Cent Action, letting it be known that
this documentary comes across as a calculated move to influence public perception, continuing a long-standing pattern of narrative control tied to Diddy's public image. It appears carefully positioned to pull attention away from 50 Cent's documentary and the growing controversy already under intense scrutiny. Even as legal proceedings unfolded, reports suggest Diddy remained actively involved behind the scenes, working closely with his sons to construct a more favorable portrayal, signaling that image management has remained a priority despite mounting pressure and public skepticism.
His Instagram right after this trailer for this docu-series dropped, and he was getting tons of backlash from people saying they do not want this crap, they only want to see baddies. He said, to be clear, this documentary series is centered on providing Justin and Christian the opportunity to share their personal story and lived experiences, particularly as their lives have also been directly impacted. This project is not intended to endorse, defend, or vindicate Diddy or any individual, nor does it seek to justify or minimize any action that had been alleged or adjudicated. Do you find this part odd because of all the wording that was just shown in the trailer? The lies, the truth, the foes. Anyways, as a network, we believe it's important for allowing individuals to speak for themselves, just as any credible network entering the documentary space does. Our role is to provide a platform for the stories to be told honestly and without prejudgment. What viewers will see is raw, real, and authentic storytelling. That is the essence of this project. We respectfully ask that the series not be prejudged before it's seen. Everyone will have the opportunity to watch, assess the content, and
the timing of this documentary is difficult to ignore, especially as it arrives shortly after Diddy filed an appeal seeking relief from his convictions and sentence. Newly surfaced court filings show an effort to have the ruling overturned or, at minimum, adjusted to allow an earlier release, placing the project in a far more strategic light. Viewed through this lens, the docuseries feels less like coincidence and more like a deliberate attempt to influence public perception while legal challenges continue, adding yet another calculated layer to an already high-pressure and closely watched situation.
Prosecutors allege Combs frequently instructs family members and his attorneys to add other individuals via three-way call, which is not allowed. On some of those calls, prosecutors say Combs is explicit about his intention to use public statements to sway potential jurors, including this Instagram post by Diddy's kids.
Happy birthday to Daddy.
Prosecutors say Combs enlisted family members to plan and execute a social media campaign around the defendant's birthday, the first time we heard his voice from behind bars.
Oh, thank y'all for being strong and thank y'all for being by my side and supporting me. I love y'all. I got the best family in the world.
Prosecutors say Combs then monitored audience engagement from the video.
If the judge, in fact, feels as though Diddy is trying to circumvent the rules of the prison and he's doing things outside of what he's allowed to do, that's going to carry a lot of weight when we talk about being released on bail, because what they're trusting is that you will abide by the rules that are
really being paid to rally support for Diddy outside of his trial? Because that is what many are now alleging, as people have been standing across the street from the courthouse in free Puff and free Diddy shirts. With, for example, journalist and content creator Emily Hagan posting a TikTok of this group of people in matching shirts that also then included this interaction.
These are all paid protesters. You can get $20 an hour if you wear a t-shirt.
You guys speak up.
She just got recruited, right?
I refuse.
You said no.
No.
It wasn't worth the 20?
No, but like he told me that it's for a Diddy coin, so I'm not really sure what that is. The lady right there, she just kept convincing me to go wear a shirt, and I'm like, I'm
And while that TikTok was initially posted around 5 days ago, it's now gotten a lot more traction as people like 50 Cent, who famously not a big Diddy fan, started posting about it and trolling Diddy by posting seemingly edited images of him in the shirts and writing things like, okay, now where do I send my $20 invoice?
Perhaps the most revealing element of this situation is how closely Justin and Christian are now linked to the controversies surrounding their father, and their decision to jointly push a more favorable portrayal despite their own unresolved legal challenges immediately raises red flags. Many observers believe the son's participation isn't just about storytelling, but also about damage control, turning the documentary into a defensive maneuver as much as a narrative reset. Tensions escalated when Christian Combs briefly reacted publicly to 50 Cent's docuseries with a post that was later removed, while 50 Cent's sharp, dismissive response remained visible, reinforcing the imbalance in that exchange. Adding to the scrutiny, court filings and resurfaced images have tied Justin Combs to several disputed events connected to his father, placing his role under renewed examination. Altogether, these overlapping issues intensify skepticism around the project, as both sons remain under pressure and unanswered questions continue to follow their involvement.
Diddy Combs seeking an immediate release from prison. This week, his attorneys urging a federal appeals court in New York to reverse his conviction on prostitution-related charges or direct the judge to lighten his 4-year sentence. The National News Desk, Jeff Harris, joining us. Diddy's lawyers, Jeff, officially filing that appeal this week. Tell us more about their argument and also the chances it succeeds. What are you hearing?
So Diddy is currently serving that 50-month prison sentence after being found guilty on those prostitution-related charges over the summer. In their appeal filing, his lawyers now arguing the music mogul was treated harshly during sentencing by a federal judge who let evidence surrounding charges that he was actually found not guilty of actually then influence his punishment. This week, lawyers for music mogul Sean Diddy Combs urging a federal appeals court in New York to either order his immediate release and reverse his conviction or lighten his over 4-year prison sentence.
This appeal was expected, especially when the defense filed a motion for a new trial and a notice of appeal. And the arguments are attacking the...
Next voice Christian Combs is also facing mounting scrutiny, as recent reports indicate he has been named in a lawsuit that further complicates the family's public situation. Court filings reference allegations tied to an incident at one of Diddy's yacht gatherings, claims that Christian has not admitted to, and that remain part of ongoing legal review. This development adds another layer of pressure to the documentary's release, underscoring how both sons are now navigating serious legal challenges while attempting to step into the public spotlight. Taken together, these unresolved issues heighten the stakes around the project and reinforce how closely the family's media strategy is colliding with an intensifying wave of scrutiny.
For Diddy and sometimes others sexually assaulted them. There are also allegations that Diddy forced these victims to have sex with prostitutes as he touched himself. He called these situations freak-offs, and oftentimes he recorded them. Here's where some of the allegations against his son Justin Combs come in. So all of this takes us back to February, when Rodney Jones, also known as the producer Lil Rod, filed civil suit against Diddy. In his lengthy lawsuit, Lil Rod straight name drops Justin Combs, describing him as someone who solicits prostitutes, underage girls, and sex workers. There's actually a picture of Justin Combs with an allegedly underage girl shown in the lawsuit. Now, in this specific instance, Lil Rod alleges at least one underage girl came to Diddy's home for a listening party. A sex worker was also apparently solicited, and a freak-off ensued. As an aside, this is the same night that Lil Rod alleges Diddy forced him to take a laced shot. He started to feel lightheaded and then woke up at 4 o'clock in the morning, naked next to a sex worker. It's important to note Justin Combs is listed as a defendant on this case because, according to Lil Rod, he facilitated Diddy's alleged RICO enterprise.
Christian and Justin now appear firmly on the defensive, fully aware that 50 Cent is gearing up for a follow-up documentary that could intensify scrutiny around their actions. Instead of waiting for that spotlight to turn harsher, they're making a preemptive move, using this project to get ahead of the narrative and frame the story on their own terms. By speaking first, they aim to steer public perception, soften judgment, and present their involvement through a more sympathetic lens before the next chapter drops. In that sense, this documentary isn't just a personal expression. It's a calculated strategy designed to control the conversation before others define it for them.
She was 25 years old at the time. She believed that the trip would be a, quote, wholesome family excursion, but says it, quote, turned into a hedonistic environment, even describing rampant drug use among sex workers and celebrities who came on board. She believes that the alcohol on the yacht had been laced with drugs because she says women would have one drink and then almost immediately pass out or start falling over. This is, by the way, something that it was also alleged in Jones's lawsuit that Combs would spike the drinks of different people. But focusing on Christian Combs, Markey says that Christian Combs had been staying at a villa on the shore, but that he would come onto the yacht in the evening to party. And on December 28th, 2022, Christian reportedly arrived very intoxicated and then proceeded to pressure Markey to take shots of tequila. She did. Christian allegedly tried to get her to drink more in the yacht's makeshift studio. Markey alleges that Christian kissed her neck, kissed her face, as he groped her legs, breasts, and private area.
There was also the time that Christian was involved in helping his dad cover up a shooting. This was even referenced in the docuseries that 50 released.
In an alleged shooting cover-up. According to court documents, it happened on September 12th, 2022, outside Diddy's Chalice Studios. Lil Rod says Diddy, his son Justin, and Justin's friend who went by G were all there when things got heated. Lil Rod says he heard multiple gunshots ring out and later found G on the bathroom floor in the fetal position. Lil Rod says he was bleeding out of his hip and leg area. Lil Rod says he was applying pressure to G's wounds and then asked the crowd to call an ambulance. At that point, both Diddy and Justin Combs disappeared to another part of the studio. Diddy then gave strict instructions to inform the police that he had nothing to do with the shooting. He also forced Mr. Jones to lie to the police by telling them that G was shot standing outside the studio by a drive-by assailant. So that specific allegation involves Diddy's son Justin, but another allegation and entirely separate civil lawsuit involves his other son Christian, or King Combs. Grace Omar K alleges that Christian Combs sexually assaulted her on a yacht in December 2022, and she says it was facilitated.
Industry insiders suggest that Diddy may be urging his sons to take part in the documentary, fully aware that their futures remain closely linked to his own. As his public image faces increasing pressure, any further damage could ripple directly into their careers, particularly given how much of their success and lifestyle have been supported by his resources. This view underscores just how high the stakes truly are, revealing complicated family dynamics and difficult realities that rarely get addressed openly, yet quietly shape every decision surrounding this project.
What do you mean 50 Cent got 140 more hours of Diddy just recording himself doing all this crazy stuff on camera? 140 extra hours. Do you know how many terabytes that footage possibly is? How many hard drives? How many bottles of baby? All right. You telling me we got the whole 4-part series documentary and that was just, what, a nickel of what he has just sitting? Like, 50 is going to use this to just crush this man. I don't even know what to say about this. I'm still stuck on Buddy, the producer, that kept waking up every single day, still there with his butt on soul. Like, bro woke up every single day like, ouch, brother.
Shit is about to hit the fan. After what 50 just came across in that secret little Diddy footage that he paid from the videographer that Diddy didn't pay, they are saying 50 has footage that will not only add more time to Diddy's sentence, but Diddy might not ever come out. Listen up, check this out. Now y'all know that footage that where Diddy is behind the scenes talking to his lawyer and all of this stuff, and people are like, damn, what was Diddy recording it? Well, Diddy was recording it because he thought he was about to beat the case. So he wanted to do a Netflix documentary. Didn't pay the guy, and then 50 got all 140 hours of footage of secret Diddy tactics. Well, there's a guy named Neil who was mentioned in the court, works right up under Diddy, was organizing everything. Allegedly, they are saying that he is on video, film, tampering with witnesses, giving out addresses, offering money, bribing, we'll pay for your lawyers, all kind of shit that could be counted as witness tampering, obstruction of justice. And 50 of all people has his hands on this footage. And I'm hearing that this could implicate Diddy's lawyers in some bullshit, they could be charged. This shit is getting wild. And I'm hearing that this 50 Cent documentary is just the fucking tip of the iceberg.
One of the most unsettling elements surrounding this situation involves allegations tied to Diddy's role as a parent, claims that have added a darker tone to the broader narrative. Freddie P., a former collaborator, has publicly stated that he witnessed deeply concerning conduct involving Diddy and his stepson, Quincy Combs, pointing to behavior he describes as inappropriate and troubling, with roots he alleges go back many years. While these claims remain contested and unproven, their emergence has intensified controversy around the family and further complicated how the public views the documentary, casting a heavy shadow over a project already facing intense skepticism and scrutiny.
I don't think anybody's paying attention to that. The choice to that guy. If that man calls and say, I need you to do this, I need you to do that, what else are they going to do? They gotta bet on him. I'm sure they're all praying he makes it, because if not, what are they going to do? And they definitely can't count on Grandma Janice. They're screwed. One way or the other, they're screwed.
So there's no escape for them.
How? Was there escape for OJ's children? Their daddy is the new OJ. And we already know he done it. Like, OJ's kids went through hell. And there was reasonable doubt. We didn't see a video of him doing anything. We didn't see him running around in a towel with a knife, We seen that with the Dipper.
This project, if it truly deserves to be labeled a documentary, comes off less as an effort at transparency and more as a calculated move to control the narrative and stall mounting pressure, placing image protection above accountability. Every interview, moment, and message feels carefully engineered to redirect focus away from ongoing controversies and reshape public opinion. It's also not the first time the family has pushed back against 50 Cent's docuseries, signaling a broader strategy rather than an isolated response. Reports indicate that Diddy's legal team has already issued formal warnings and is considering further action against both 50 Cent and Netflix, escalating the situation into a high-stakes battle where media, reputation, and legal maneuvering are now tightly intertwined.
Why were you so infatuated with a child that wasn't yours? Were you grooming that little boy? I don't even want to start those conversations because that's not your child. You know what I'm saying? And for you to keep him that close, it's like you kept him that close because he might got your secrets because he's not your child. So if he's not your child and you that type of person with that type of character, you don't mind actually doing it to him when he finally reaches a certain age because he's not yours. And you know in your mind he's not yours. And now you keep him real close to you. You make sure he don't go to his daddy. Why? We make sure he's separated with him and you provide him with everything he wants. Why? You got one of them little Michael Jackson secrets. He got one of them secrets that he can't tell nobody because his legacy, his manhood gonna be, and not only that, his brother don't gonna look at him crazy. Only Puffy know, only God and Puffy. About Quincy, right? I don't know. All I'm gonna say is, I don't know.
I'll be sure, son.
All I'm gonna say is, who's infatuated with another man's son?
The cease and desist threat is widely seen as having little real impact, especially since 50 Cent has already explained how the footage came into his possession. Reports suggest that after Diddy declined to properly compensate his editor, echoing earlier disputes, 50 Cent stepped in, covered the outstanding costs, and legally secured exclusive control of the material. That move effectively shifted ownership and leverage, placing the content firmly in his hands and limiting the reach of any legal pressure. As a result, 50 Cent remains positioned to guide the narrative on his terms, reinforcing his control over what can be released and when, regardless of attempts to slow or silence the project.
Diddy's legal team sent Netflix a cease and desist letter, but now the big rumor is that they're preparing a defamation lawsuit, potentially for $1 billion over the Sean Combs The Reckoning documentary. They're claiming it uses stolen and unauthorized footage to create a shameful hit piece and damages reputation.
What is is there precedent? Because when it's a documentary, footage doesn't necessarily have to be approved if it's considered a news piece.
And since you didn't watch it, Ebro, there is one piece.
I watched some of it.
Where, there's very intimate footage of Diddy with his lawyers. But in the documentary, it also talks about how he hired a young person to film him for X amount of hours, a lot, and didn't pay him. So if 50 comes along and is like, I will pay you for this footage.
Well, unless
that's the biggest congrats, by the way.
Well, depending on what the documentation is between that, that person and Diddy.
Yeah.
Right. If that documentation says that this footage is yours, if I am paid, if I am not paid, the footage is mine.
Well, no, but I think the default would be it's his. If they didn't end up doing paperwork and the guy's just been allowed access, that's his footage.
Oh yeah, 1,000%. If there's not paperwork.
So if Diddy never signed paperwork, he was like, "No, I'm gonna get you when I get you."
Yeah, that's right.
Now Diddy never gave him $1. Now Diddy went to jail. He's holding all this footage. 50 goes, "I'd like that footage."
By pushing his sons to the forefront of the documentary, Diddy appears positioned to recast himself as a devoted parent and misunderstood figure, subtly redirecting attention away from the controversies surrounding him. In contrast to 50 Cent's documentary, this project is widely expected to follow a tightly managed storyline, one designed to protect the family's image and soften public judgment rather than fully confront the deeper issues at the center of the debate.